Hey guys, it's Karis. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm filming a quarantine book haul. So these are all of the books that I've picked up since March. This is very exciting. There's only one nonfiction book, and that's because I feel like I already have most of the nonfiction books that I thought were interesting. So I don't really have a desire to pick up any more. But if one comes out and I feel like getting it, then I'm sure I will. Anyways, let's get started because there's a lot of books. I feel like it's gonna take a while. A little disclaimer before I start. I'm gonna start with two books that I've already read just so I can give like little reviews on those and then get into the books that I haven't read yet. So the first book that I have is Every Last Word by Tamara Ireland Stone, and this book was really good. This was pretty much the book that I based all of my book purchases on after, because I wanted to find books that made me feel like this one did. This is about this girl named Samantha, and she has OCD. She meets this girl named Caroline. She takes her to this place called the Poets Corner, and there's a bunch of stuff about that, and then it says, slowly she begins to feel more normal than she ever has as part of the popular crowd, until she finds a new reason to question her sanity and all she holds dear. And it's so good. It's like every single teen romance book combined, and that's just the way it makes you feel. I would give this a solid 9.2 out of 10. The next book that I've already read is Alex Approximately by Jen Bennett. I really love Jen Bennett. I read her other book, Starry Eyes, and it was also really good. It says the one guy Bailey Rydell can't stand is actually the boy of her dreams. She just doesn't know it yet. Classic movie fan Bailey Mink Rydell has spent months crushing on a witty film geek she knows online as Alex. Two coasts separate the teens until Bailey moves in with her dad, who lives in the same California surfing town as her online crush. Faced with doubts, what if he's a creep in real life, or worse? Bailey doesn't tell Alex she's moved to his hometown, or that she's landed a job at the local tourist trap museum, or that she's being heckled daily by the irritatingly hot museum security guard Porter Roth, aka her new arch nemesis. But life is a whole lot messier than in the movies, especially when Bailey discovers especially when Bailey discovers those tricky fine lines dividing hate, love, and whatever it is she's starting to feel for Porter. As the summer months go by, Bailey must choose whether to cling to a dreamy online fantasy in Alex or take a risk on an imperfect reality with Porter. The choice is both simpler and more complicated than she realizes, because Porter Roth is hiding a secret of his own. Porter is Alex, approximately. Highly recommend. Pulled the heartstrings a lot. I would give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. The ending could have been written a little better. It's better than what I could do, but yeah. I still liked it a lot. So now I'm gonna show you guys the one nonfiction book that I got because it's the only one. And it is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert T. Kiyosaki. This is basically just about like handling money and how to save money. My dad recommended that I read this, and so I was like, okay. So now getting into the rest of the fiction books that I got, I'm going to start with The Scarlet Letter. I picked this up because it's a classic and I've never read it before. I was supposed to read it my junior year at my previous school, but at the school I'm at now, we didn't have to read it. This book's main theme is like guilt and sin and navigating that. And it sounds really interesting. I've heard a lot of people say that it's not, but I don't know. The next book is called All Our Broken Pieces, and it's by L.D. Crichton. I'll read the back to you guys. You can't keep two people who are meant to be together apart for long. Lennon Davis doesn't believe in much, but she does believe in the security of the number 5. If she flicks the bedroom light switch 5 times, maybe her new LA school won't suck. But that doesn't feel right, so she flicks the switch again and again. 10 more flicks of the switch and maybe her new step-family will accept her. 25 more flicks and maybe she won't cause any more of her loved ones to die. 50 more and then she can finally go to sleep. Kyler Benton witnesses this pattern of lights from the safety of his treehouse in the yard next door. It is only there, hidden from the unwanted stares of his peers, that Kyler can fill his notebooks with lyrics that reveal the true scars of the boy behind the oversized hoodies and caustic humor. But Kyler finds that But Kyler finds that descriptions of blonde hair, sad eyes, and tapping fingers are beginning to fill the pages of his notebooks. Lennon, the lonely girl next door his father has warned him about, Lennon, the lonely girl next door his father has warned him about, infiltrates his mind. Even though he has enough to deal with without Lennon's rumored tragic past in his life, Kyler can't help but want to know the truth about his new muse. Tell me why I literally cannot read. This one sounds very cute. It also sounds very similar to Every Last Word, and if it is very similar, then I am not complaining. Oh my gosh, you know what's so funny? On the front of this book, there's a quote from Tamara Ireland Stone, who wrote Every Last Word. She said, "I loved every second of All Our Broken Pieces. It's sharply written, honest to the core, and deeply moving. Don't miss the story about surrounding yourself with people who accept you for exactly who you are." That's crazy. The next book is Under Rose-Tainted Skies by Louise Gornell, and it says, "If she can't go out, can she let him in?" And the back says, "Nora knows fearing everything from inland tsunamis to odd numbers is irrational, but she can't stop being afraid. She's even scared of her cute new neighbor Luke, but she's intrigued by him too. Despite the fears that keep her housebound, Nora begins a tentative friendship with Luke. Soon she doesn't know what frightens her more, the chance that they might fall in love or the possibility that they shouldn't. Luke is sweet, thoughtful, kind. Doesn't he deserve a girlfriend who isn't so screwed up?" So yeah, this also very similar to Every Last Word, at least by the description. The next book is called Wanderlost, and it's by Jen Malone. The back says, "Not all those who wander are lost, but she might be." Aubrey Sadler can't think of a better place to be than in perfectly boring Ohio, and she's ready for a relaxing summer. But when her older sister, Elizabeth, gets into real trouble, Aubrey is talked into taking over Elizabeth's summer job, leading a group of senior citizens on a bus tour through Europe. Never mind that Aubrey has never left the country, or that the tour company still thinks they're getting exceptional Elizabeth and not trainwreck Brie. Aubrey doesn't even make it to the first stop in Amsterdam before their perfect plan unravels, leaving her with no phone, no carefully prepared binder full of helpful facts, and an unexpected guest, the tour company owner's son, Sam. Considering she's pretending to be Elizabeth, she absolutely shouldn't fall for him, but she can't help it, especially with the most romantic European cities as the backdrop for their love story. But her relationship with Sam is threatening to ruin her relationship with her sister, and she feels like she's letting both of them down. Aubrey knows this trip may show her who she really is. She just hopes she likes where she ends up. I feel like this book reminds me of 13 Little Blue Envelopes. Even though they're like very different in plot, they have the same kind of feel, like the going to Europe and not really knowing like what's happening. And I really like that book. So next book I have is My Life Next Door by Huntley Fitzpatrick. And the back of this one says, "On one summer night, everything changed. Life in Samantha Reed's home is neat and clean and orderly, precisely planned by her local politician mother. Next door at the Garretts, things are loud, messy, and irresistible. And when gorgeous Jace Garrett climbs the trellis outside her bedroom and enters her life, she finds herself falling passionately in love with him and everything he brings with him. The only hitch is she's got to hide it from her mother. Then something unthinkable happens and Samantha is suddenly faced with an impossible decision. Which perfect family will save her? Or is it time she saved herself?" This seems super cute. I love a good forbidden romance, Romeo and Juliet style. Up here it says, "A boy, a secret, a choice." Whoop whoop. The next book is Things We Know by Heart by Jessie Kirby. The back of this one says, "For so long, I was the one with his heart. I just need to see where it is now." When Quinn Sullivan lost her boyfriend Trent in an accident their junior year, her world was shattered. So in an attempt to take control of her mourning, she reaches out to the recipients of Trent's donated organs. Every letter she writes is answered, except for one, to the person who received Trent's donated heart. Going outside of the system, Quinn tracks down 19-year-old Colton Thomas, hoping to find peace once and for all. But like all matters of the heart, it's not quite that simple. What begins as an accidental run-in with Colton quickly becomes an undeniable attraction. Quinn knows she should walk away, especially since Colton has no idea how they're connected, but that means giving up the only semblance of happiness she's felt in over a year. No matter how hard she's falling for Colton, every beat of his heart is a reminder of all she's lost and could lose again. I really like this one. By reading the back, I know that there's going to be a point in time where he finds out that he is the one with her ex-boyfriend's heart, and it's going to break my heart because he's going to get mad, but that's just part of the fun. I've never heard of anything like this before, so I think it'll be very good. And it's pretty short. It's only about 250 to 70 pages. The next book is called Did I Mention I Love You by Estelle Mascame. Wattpad sensation. This book it seems kind of weird because the love story is between the girl and her new stepbrother, which is kind of weird, but I guess if you look at it from the they're not actually related part, it's normal, but it's not normal. The back says, love is everything but expected. Eden Monroe came to California for a summer of sun, sand, and celebrities. What better way to forget about the drama back home until she meets her new family of strangers, a dad she hasn't seen in 3 years, a stepmom, and 3 stepbrothers. Eden gets her own room in her dad's fancy house in Santa Monica, a room right next door to her oldest stepbrother, Tyler Bruce, whom she cannot stand. He has angry green eyes and an ego bigger than Beverly Hills mansion. She's never felt such intense dislike for someone, but the two are constantly thrown together as his group of friends pulls her into their world of rule-breaking, partying, and pier hanging. And the more she tries to understand what makes Tyler burn hotter than the California sun, the more Eden finds herself falling for the one person she shouldn't love. I wonder why she shouldn't love him. Kind of reminds me of Alex Approximately and how Bailey didn't like Porter at first. Eden doesn't like Tyler at first, and that's very similar. The next book I have is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart, and I've always looked at this book, but I never picked it up because I didn't I didn't really get what it was about because the back is kind of vague. Then I looked up sad books because I wanted to find a really sad book because those are my favorite, and this one was pretty high up on the list. So the back says, if anyone asks you how it ends, just lie. We are Sinclairs. We live, at least in the summertime, on a private island off the coast of Massachusetts. Perhaps that is all you need to know, except that some of us are liars. And I still don't know what it's about, but it sounds very interesting, and people said it was really good. So, yeah. There's a little map of their island. I'll be reading this. I will report back with my final verdict. Next book is called 99 Days by Katie Cotugno. I don't know how to say that. So this book is kind of written in journal style, so day 1, day 2, day 3, stuff like that. Day 1, Julia Donnelly eggs my house my first night back in Star Lake. She has every right to hate me, of course. I broke Patrick Donnelly's heart the night everything happened with his brother Gabe. Day 4, a nasty note on my windshield makes it clear Julia isn't finished. I'm expecting a fight when someone taps me on the shoulder, but it's just Gabe, home from college and actually happy to see me. For what it's worth, Molly Barlow, he says, I'm really glad you're back. Day 12, Gabe wouldn't quit till he got me to come to this party, and I'm surprised to find I'm actually having fun. I think he's about to kiss me, and that's when I see Patrick. My Patrick, who's supposed to be clear across the country. My Patrick who's never going to forgive me. 87 days of summer to go, and history is repeating itself. The last thing I want is to come between the Donnelly brothers again, but the truth is, the Donnellys stole my heart a long time ago. And someone said, a complicated, compelling summer romance and a whole lot of kissing to make this one stick in the beach bag. Sounds exactly like the kind of book that I need in my life. Alright, my camera just stopped recording because this video is too long. We have 3 more books though, so let's just get into this one. This is called The Beginning of Everything by Robin Schneider, and it says, everyone gets a tragedy. And when I read that, I was like, thank you, I will be taking this. It says Ezra Faulkner was supposed to be homecoming king, but that was before his girlfriend cheated on him, before a car accident shattered his leg, and before he fell in love with new girl Cassidy Thorpe. I don't really know like what the plot of this one is. I feel like it's gonna be kind of like All the Bright Places, where you don't expect it to be heart-wrenching and then it is. The next book is We All Looked Up by Tommy Wallach. This book is more about like friendship, and that's like very different than what I normally choose. They said the asteroid would be here in 2 months. They gave us 2 months to leave our labels behind. 2 months to become something bigger than what we'd been. Something that would last even after the end. 2 months to really live. And someone said, Tommy Wallach's We All Looked Up is a triumphant debut. This generation's The Stand. It is at once troubling, uplifting, scary, and heart-wrenching, and written with so many compassion. I literally cannot read. Oh my god. It is at once troubling, uplifting, scary, and heart-wrenching, and written with so much compassion for our fragile hold on the fleeting here and now. A glorious, wonderful, completely unforgettable novel. I don't know what I would do if I only had 2 months to live. Yeah, no, I really don't know. Let me think of an adjective. I can't think of an adjective. I'm just really excited to read this. And my last book of the day is called Opposite of Always by Justin A. Reynolds. And this book is from bookofthemonth.com. I found this book subscription just like randomly because I wanted to buy more books, but I didn't want to like spend all of my money. So I was like, oh, I can get this subscription and just get 1 book a month. I don't know if they're all hardbacks because this is the first book that I got, or if it's just like the first book that you get is a hardback, but if they are all hardbacks, then that is like absolutely amazing. The back says, this is a book about 2 teens who fall in love over cereal, about a boy stuck in a time loop and the moments that make a life worth reliving. And then on the inside where it tells you like the plot, it says, Jake Ellison, king of almost. He almost made valedictorian. He almost made varsity. He almost got the girl. Until, when Jack and Kate meet at a party, bonding until sunrise over their mutual love of Fruit Loops and their favorite flicks, Jack knows he's falling hard. Soon she's meeting his best friends, Jillian and Franny, and Kate wins them over as easily as she did Jack. Jack's curse of almost is finally over. But this love story is complicated. It is an almost happily ever after because Kate dies, and their story should end there, yet Kate's death sends Jack back to the beginning, the moment they first meet, and Kate's there again. Beautiful, radiant Kate, healthy, happy, and charming as ever. Jack isn't sure if he's losing his mind. Still, if he has a chance to prevent Kate's death, he'll take it, even if that means believing in time travel. However, Jack will learn that his actions are not without consequences, and when one choice turns deadly for someone else close to him, he has to figure out what he's willing to do and let go to save the people he loves. From debut author Justin A. Reynolds comes a razor-sharp, hilarious, and heartfelt novel about the choices we make, the people we choose, and the moments that make a life worth reliving. Can we just appreciate for a second how I read all of that without stuttering one single time? I think that's a sign that I need to read this. I'm really excited to read this book because I love, like, not that time travel is like dystopian, but I really love like far-fetched things like time travel. And when you insert a romance into that, it's like 10,000 times more amazing than what you could have ever expected. So yeah, that is all of the books that I've gotten since quarantine started. It will probably take me about a year or 2 to finish all of these, but I am a collector. That's what I do. I'm really excited to read all of these. I hate that I just said excited again, but I really can't think of anything else. I'm ready to start a new book. I have to I have to finish Atomic Habits and Wuthering Heights, and then I can move on to one of these. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe, and comment down below any ideas you have for future videos. I will probably make them, and I'll talk to you guys later. I love you so much. Bye!